Hi folks, Stevie PhD here. It's Friday the 6th of August 2021. Now, regular viewers and followers of my channel have become accustomed to 3 videos per week on a regularish schedule, but recently my output has dipped. It's not because there aren't myths to bust or unionist twits twittering or Tory blunders for me to satirise, because as we all know, there's no shortage of material there. If I'm honest, I'm beginning to lose a bit of heart. Not with the idea of independence, I remain fully committed to that. But I'm losing heart with the indie movement every time I check my social media and see the latest internal indie spat. Now, the Scottish National Party wants independence for our country. The Scottish Greens want independence for our country. The Alapa Party want independence for our country. We all want independence for our country. Now, here's a poll that was published on the Britain Elect's Twitter feed, and it's not good news. Scottish independence voting intention: yes 48.1%, minus 6.1%, and no 51.9%, plus 6.1%. Even allowing for the standard 5% margin of error, this is just far too close. Particularly when just prior to the May elections, support for indie was riding high, at times as high as 58% in the polls. Now, anyone who knows me and watches the vlog regularly will know that I'm an SNP activist and branch convener. I look forward to working with my SNP colleagues to deliver independence. But despite our party's slight differences, if you're a member of the Scottish Green Party, then I consider you an ally in the independence cause. And in the wider movement, that camaraderie is evident. And despite our party's slight differences, if you're a member of the Alapa Party, I consider you an ally in the independence cause. But in the wider movement, that camaraderie is, how to say this politely, less evident. Now, I don't believe that the timing of this apparent decline in support for independence is a coincidence. I believe it is connected, timings-wise, to the independence movement becoming factionalised and turning on each other. So I'm calling, as I already have in the past, for an immediate ceasefire. Now, I don't really see the Scottish Greens bad-mouthing or indulging in this or getting stuck into infighting, so for now, I'll leave them out of it. This is clearly an issue between supporters of the SNP and Alapa. I feel so low every time an SNP versus Alapa spat on the internet shows itself, whichever way the vitriol is flowing. And though the party hierarchies tend to stay out of these spats on social media, it gets quite heated. From the SNP viewpoint, it was never more apparent than last week when our party appointed a new complaints officer. Now, this isn't a comment on his appointment, his Twitter feed or his views, which I'm staying neutral on. It's a comment on the fallout. Because if we were to go back a year, it would usually fall to the Tories or the Tory-friendly press to go trawling through his social media feeds, digging up the dirt and throwing it all over the internet. But not in 2021, folks. Today it was fellow indie campaigners doing the Tories and the Tory press's work for them. But of course, there are two sides to every coin, and I can't talk through an Alba prism as I'm not a member. But I can't imagine it being fun to have your leader being continually linked with the things he's been cleared of in the courts and having his legitimacy to stand for public office continually questioned. And if there's one thing the SNP members should always remember, it's the pain of not being successful at the ballot box. Mocking another party for that is unforgivable, especially another indie party, and especially when we had to endure it ourselves for long enough. If you, like me, are in the SNP, please consider the following. There were obviously people, from ordinary members to elected representatives, who are only in the SNP because it was the only credible indie party. If those people have left us to go to Alba, leave them to it. As much respect as I have for our leader, it is the electorate, and not her, who are the only arbiters of who is fit for public office and who is not. If you're an Alba member, especially one who is previously an SNP member, I appreciate your past efforts, and we wouldn't be here without them. And you are quite entitled, as all citizens are, to criticise how we govern the country. But you gave up your right to criticise how the SNP run our party when you left. Our policies are for us to decide. We can appoint whoever we like to whichever position we like. The timeline of the drop in polling support for independence and the internecine squabbling which has engulfed the indie movement in the run-up to and since the May election can't be a coincidence. Followers of both parties are responsible for this, but we all follow our respective leadership, and I'd like to see the leadership of both parties call for an end to it. Until they do, I'm calling for it. Just me, on my own. But if any other blogger or supporter from any other side of this issue wants to join me, I'd really appreciate the support. Because all the while this is happening, our Tory chums are sitting back, rubbing their hands, helping themselves to our country's resources, and finding new and innovative ways to funnel public money into private pockets. And they're getting away with it, because we, the most engaged and informed political support in the UK, the people best placed and most motivated to hold the Tories to account, are baring our teeth at each other instead. I'm an SNP member, activist, branch convener. I'm proud to be so, and I'll be sticking around here. But Alba are not my enemy. As I've detailed before in a previous blog post, I believe there is a place for both parties in this political landscape, where the option of voting for Alba could actually bring more people into the indie movement and get this thing over the line. As the slogan says, Alba is rising. And believe it or not, I wish them luck. Alba has the best political strategists of his generation leading them. They could be a very valuable addition to the indie cause if they target the right voters and have the right message. But the ceasefire must take effect first. I'm not asking us all to start liking each other or supporting each other. Working together is going to be a stretch for the time being. Perhaps a good first step might be ignoring each other, pretending the other doesn't exist, not biting whenever the other does something, and just doing our own thing. Who knows? Sometime in the far-off future, we may even find some common ground again. Folks, thanks for watching. Please share the hell out of this one, because this crap needs to stop today. Davey PhD.